On the menu for today, we got two different dishes, okay? So we got, number one, our mac and chini, okay? Mac and cheese, arancini, symphony combination, okay? And number two, we got braised beef, caramelized onion egg rolls, okay? Does not roll off the tongue as well as mac and chini, but you're gonna see the process of it, and you're probably gonna want that one even more because it's cooking and it's good looking. Okay, so right now we're gonna be making our double smoked mac and chini, okay? And then the way you gotta do that is first you gotta boil your mac. So your mac is boiled over here. Okay, I gotta strain it out. You do need a little bit of pasta water, okay? Pasta water has starch, and starch is good for making like an emulsified sauce. It makes it all together. And now, I can strain this pasta, okay? So I cook this pasta like 90% of the way before it would be fully done if you were to eat it just like that. Well, this is 2,000 grams of dry macaroni. It gets heavier and bigger when it cooks because it absorbs the water, right? But we're not just doing a tray mac and cheese, we're fancifying it a little bit. So we're making them individual serving sizes. We're making them mac and chini. Arancini, mac and cheese. Fuck the rice from the arancini, put mac and cheese in there, my mac and cheese. Then you fry it and you got mac and chini. You're gonna find out it's gonna be fucking sexy, okay? For our mac and cheese, you gotta make a roux. A roux is equal parts butter, equal parts flour to make the base of a sauce, right? You'll see, before I even add cheese to my roux, it's already gonna look like the texture, like it's already had a cheese in it. So, first thing you gotta do is warm up your milk, okay? Because you don't wanna add cold milk to a roux. If you add cold milk to a roux, it doesn't incorporate as nicely, and then it might get super thick, or you might fuck up the temperature of it, okay? So you just warm it up, your milk. Doesn't gotta be anything crazy. I put some bay leaves in there and some garlic in there, so it infuses the milk with a little bit of flavor instead of it just being warm milk. Okay, these are our slow roasted, caramelized onions. White onions, you probably won't guess how long this takes, but all these onions, which was like about just probably under 10 large onions, took like just about an hour or a little bit more to fully get to this part. If I cook them anymore, they like lose their structure. It's just gonna become jam, they're gonna fall apart. But this is the perfect moment where the natural sugars in the onion cook down enough where it's just kind of sugary, and it's like, it's perfect, okay? So we're gonna mix that with the braised beef in the egg roll, fry it, and then, last step, because I'm doing the most, okay, so is that kind of time, is we got some garlic confit here, which I already strained the oil from the garlic, okay? We're gonna use this, both of these, to make a garlic confit lemon aioli, okay? So aioli is mayo, but with garlic in there. But instead of it just being garlic, it's garlic confit, which is garlic steeped in olive oil till it's soft and sexy. What aioli is when you add garlic into that mix, okay? It's like when we have a roux, you add milk and you get a bechamel. It's like you have mayo, you add garlic, it's an aioli, okay? So what we're doing is a garlic confit aioli, okay? So what I have is Dijon mustard, I have eggs, I have garlic, and I have oil. So I'm gonna mix all those with an immersion blender, and it's gonna become an aioli for our beef delights, okay? So first, also when you make your aioli, okay, you have your ingredients here ready, right? But before you start adding in oil slowly to blend it, you need to make sure you blend this together first. This is its own mixture, and then slowly after that, you add in the oil and it incorporates, okay? If you start adding the oil now, it's gonna get fucked. Smell it. See, that's just been infused. Even with it nothing being in there, that's canola, neutral oil, seed oil, right? It's fine. It's the neutral oil that everyone uses. You got garlic, thyme, rosemary, and olive oil to make the holy elixir of the gods, okay? Here we go. So now we're gonna get our immersion blender plugged in. Emulsify this, right? Emulsify this. So carefully, you make sure everything is combined. That's garlic, Dijon, and eggs, okay? Now, I'm gonna slowly add my oil. I got smoked provolone in cubes here. This is gonna be the last thing added to the mac and cheese. This is once it's already in the sauce, the pasta's all together. Then, once that cools down a little bit, I throw these in. And now you have like big pockets of smoked provolone cheese. It'll be ooey gooey and it's like big pockets, you know what I mean? Jump scare warning if you're lactose intolerant, because Jesus Christ, okay, we got a shit ton of cheese here. This is a smoked Gouda. So that's gonna give it a nice flavor. That's another smoked component. Got some smoked cheddar, regular cheddar. And now the thing that's gonna make it triple smoked, smoky mac and chini, is this smoked bacon that I've rendered till it's crispy, which I'm gonna mix in with the mac and cheese after it's done, okay? So I do it separately, okay? You don't wanna add it in, because then the bacon grease is gonna mess with the flavor of the actual mac and cheese. You just want the bacon part, crispy smoked bacon with the smoked cheese, with the other smoked cheese, smoky mac and chini, okay? So that's what we're doing. So the roux is the base of your cheese sauce, okay? Cheese sauce in French is like bechamel. So bechamel sauce is what you would use for like an Alfredo or something, right? It's like it's your bechamel. Okay, first thing we gotta do, we gotta melt all the butter. Okay, you don't add in the flour till the butter's all melted. You know what you also make sure is that you wash your hands before and after you cook with different ingredients, which is something that I obviously did, because I always do that, and I am health code, certified. So now we wait a waiting game, okay? So right now, whenever you want to season your roux, right? You got to do it before you add your flour, because once you add the flour, you're cooking off flour. You're not adding flavor, you're getting the flour to get cooked off, so then you could advance to the next step of the roux, which is adding the milk. So if you want to season the actual roux, you got to season it now when all the butter is melted, okay? So that's what I'm taking the time to do now. I'm gonna have a little bit of smoked paprika. I'm gonna do a little bit of black pepper, not too much, but just a little bit, just for the color. And then a little bit of ground mustard. It gives it like a nice complexity of like savoriness that's not just like cheese, you know what I mean? So I actually like it. So you do a little bit of that as well. I'm just gonna use all of it. You make sure you mix it all in. You don't want it to be clumpy, right? So you want it all incorporated. You gotta add your flour, okay? So you get the right consistency. And it's interesting, when you've never made a roux before, when you start adding the flour and you start adding the milk, which is incrementally, not all at the same time, it reaches a point in the consistency and the texture where you start questioning it. You're like, is it supposed to look like this? But it's literally making a roux and making a cheese sauce is the ultimate like trust the process moment. Because at times, like halfway through, it's gonna look like you completely fucked it up. But you didn't, you just gotta keep working it until it gets to that good point. So flour, very complex techniques here. And now, with constant stirring, I slowly start adding my flour, okay? This amount of butter, I got 500 grams of butter. So in theory, I gotta be adding 500 grams of flour, right? If you just add and then stir till it's unclumpy and then add and stir till it's unclumpy, sure, you will 1000% have not a clumpy sauce, but it will also take you 14 fucking years to make your cheese sauce, which is not necessary. You'll see what I mean, okay? So I'm getting my second little half liter of flour. So if you get here, if you want to come here, you can see how slowly more flour I put in, the thicker the consistency is getting, right? It's not just melted butter anymore, right? As you can tell. So I'm adding this flour, and it's not even just like adding flour till it's the right consistency. I'm still gonna wait, right? Once I got into that right consistency a little bit for the raw flour to cook off. If you start adding your milk or whatever, especially if it's cold milk, too soon, and the flour hasn't cooked off, and you're gonna have raw flour in your sauce, okay? And you don't want raw flour, okay? That's a no-no, okay? See there, how it's starting to get pasty? That's where you're trying to start to get to, you know what I mean? So the more it gets pastier, the more someone who's less experienced might think, okay, fuck, I think I'm fucking this shit up. This is actually just about the point where I would add a little bit more flour and then stop regularly, but I want my cheese sauce to be a little bit thinner, like a little bit less thick. And now, while I'm stirring it, I'm waiting for the flour to cook out. You're not gonna get like a notification on your phone that, your flour's done, okay? So you just wait a certain amount of time. So I can see how slowly my butter is starting to melt more. I smell it, and now I'm starting to smell less raw flour and more of like the seasonings I added and more of like cooked butter. So I'm gonna let it go for like another 30 seconds. And you're gonna see, again, how it's gonna be like, I did something wrong, okay? Because you're gonna start adding the milk slowly in the beginning stages, and it's gonna be like, what the fuck am I doing? This does not look right at all. I've done my testing as well, so I like to do a mix of whole milk, 3.25%, and heavy cream, okay? So first, you build the majority of your sauce, the majority of the volume of it, with whole milk, infused whole milk that's warm, okay? So it builds in nicely. And then at the end, depending on texture, you can add in less or more heavy cream. You don't need different percentages, you just need those two. That's it. You don't need to overcomplicate it, okay? When you actually are adding the flour or like the roux with the milk, that's when you do it time by time. When it's fully mixed in, then you add more. Fully mixed in, then you add more. If you add in all this milk, especially if it's cold, right away, it's gonna not like it's not gonna emulsify with the rest of the roux. It's just gonna be like separate. It's gonna be super hard to get it together. So this is the part where you'll be like, okay, well, am I sure that this is all right? But this is on the road to success. You're in the process part of trust the process, okay? You're like, what the fuck? Am I making like fucking pie fucking crust? Like, what the fuck is this? Am I baking? No, you're making a good fucking sauce, okay? Elite level, okay? I only sell to the best food truck. My food truck won 3 awards this year, okay? Nothing to do with mac and cheese, but my mac and cheese was sold at the food truck that had all those awards, okay? So coincidence? Probably. Now we're getting to the trust part, because if you take a look, it's not a fucking paste. Look, it already looks cheesy. There's 0 cheese in here. Zero cheese. One thing about making a cheese sauce, if you add the cheese too early while you're still cooking on heat, the cheese will literally separate. Like the fat from it will separate from the solid of it, and then you're gonna get a separated sauce where it's like clumpy and cheesy on the bottom, and like they'll have be like a film of oil. So it's like you got oil and then like cheese like separated. It's not the same sauce. So you don't want that. So how you do that is you make the entire sauce. You make it with your roux, your bechamel, you add your cream, you get everything right, and then off the heat, while the thing is warm on its own, then you add in your cheese, so it melts from just the residual heat, and it's not there for too long, so it doesn't give the cheese time to separate. For those of you that are wondering, I'm not adding all this, okay? This is ridiculous, but like I said earlier, I'm making mac and cheese next week, 12 trays of 12 pounds, so if you want to do the math, it's almost 150 pounds, okay? So I have a little bit of extra for that day, okay? So off the heat now, I could just start adding handfuls, okay? Just start adding handfuls and continuously stirring. Eventually I'm gonna taste this once it's properly mixed. Like you can see there's cheese that's still getting to the melted part, but the heat's off. There's no heat on here, right? You don't need heat. This is a Philadelphia cream cheese, herbs and garlic cream cheese, okay? So I like to add it at the end of my sauces. Actually, oh fuck's sakes, man. Fucking cream cheese betrayed me, man. It's fine, it's gonna save the sauce, so I'm not even mad, okay? So now we're gonna get our pasta. I'm gonna add it into that fucking delectable cheese sauce that, you know, we just made, which is smelling already perfectly. Okay, we have our strained pasta. I'm gonna slowly start dropping my pasta into the sauce, okay? It's not a ridiculous amount of bacon, but it's not a bacon dish. It's a mac and cheese dish with bacon, you know what I mean? So now, slowly start to incorporate that, okay? Beautiful, look at the colors on that. So it's also a nice difference in color. So now we're gonna try it. That's mac and cheese, baby, that's money. What I'm gonna do is mac and chini. I can't ball this up right now, obviously, because it's still warm. So what I'm going to do first is chill it, wait till it becomes one substance, right? Like it's cold, I can play with it. If you wanted regular mac and cheese, this is it. This is right here. This is my mac and cheese, okay? This is what today's mac and cheese is looking like. So if you guys enjoyed watching me make my signature mac and cheese right here, triple smoky, first half of the mac and chini, like the video, follow me, share with anyone else who might also be interested in mac and chini.
A few moments later.
So oven got way too fucking hot and there was not enough liquid. So all the meat that was in the middle, it's still good, right? But you could see on the side, right, the liquid reduced a little bit too much. And you see how there's like not much liquid here anymore? It's kind of just like the mush of like the carrots, which is still delicious. Like that's gonna be delicious as well. And the onions, but all the liquid, the beef broth and the red wine, it all reduced, and then there was nothing left to burn, so all the sugars on the side started caramelizing and then burning. So that's what happened, okay? So it was there for too long. So what I wanna do is take the strainer, okay? And now all this shit that I can salvage, I'm gonna put it in the strainer, right? All this shit, and then I'm gonna push it through, and I'm gonna incorporate that with the meat. So it has some kind of other moisture and flavor. It has the braising liquid that it cooked in, okay? So normally you have all the liquid still, right? And nothing is super burnt, but when shit goes wrong, okay, you can't just look at it and be like, oh fuck, I fucked up. You gotta start salvaging shit. And then sometimes you make something that was better than what you even planned to begin with. Because now we have insane depth of flavor with how much, like there's a differentiation of how caramelized everything is. I made extra for the sole purpose of when you're making anything, you always make a little bit extra in case shit like this happens where you fuck something up. This is what you call a fun time to fucking clean up in the kitchen later, so I'm gonna fucking kill it. Okay, so what I'm gonna do now I'm gonna take my hand and I'm literally pushing this shit through the fucking strainer. Like you literally just push it through. So all the shit that can go through, all the flavorful stuff, it goes into the meat and I'm gonna mix it in. But all the stuff like this, all the stuff that can't actually get mixed through, is gonna stay here. So now I have a nice amount of food that's literally just flavor. So I'm like pushing it through. So you see slowly there's less and less because more and more gets pushed through. I collect it, and that's literally just like concentrated fucking sexiness puree. Now we're at the part where we gotta make our braised beef spring delights. So we got our beef, okay, we got our caramelized onions, but when you roll all this shit up, if you don't have a binding agent, right, it's just a term, to seal it, it's just gonna undo itself, right? So some of you may not have cornstarch at home. I don't have cornstarch right now, which is what I would use, like a water and cornstarch solution, which will, usually in food it thickens it, but like in this case you can use it to like seal it, like glue, like food glue, right? I don't have that, but I have eggs, right? So eggs, you can use an egg wash like they do in baking to seal it, use it as like a different kind of sealer. Okay, so this is what we're working with here, which is honestly exactly what I want. How many do we even have in a pack here? We got 1, 2, 3, we got 15. Okay, we got 15 per thing. I got 2 packs. So potentially we can make 30. We'll see until that runs out. So it's gonna be a limited item, but it's fucking delicious, okay? So we'll see how many we get. So what I need to do is break up some eggs into this small bowl so that I have it as egg wash. Okay, we mix this shit up. It's sticky, okay? There you go. So, there you go. Cooking for myself when I had to go abroad for like judo competitions, or like when I had to live alone somewhere, it doesn't matter if it was here, or I had to go to like Europe and I had to compete for judo, and I had to live on my own. I had to make myself some decent food. I feel like the more you learn how to cook, the more you realize how easy it is to make something that's really decent. So then, knowing that, you realize if you put in the effort, you can make something really, really good, right? And if you can make something really, really good for other people and they get to, like, they fully enjoy it for your work, that is the most rewarding feeling. Because not only do they get to eat something that you worked for and that you thought about and you were putting love into it, but just the good energy from like them eating it and you eating it and you talking about it, that whole, that vibe and that whole process is amazing. You know what I mean? Just having people bonding over food. We've done that since we were cavemen. You know what I mean? Around the fire with a fucking stick of fucking meat. That shit must have been fire. This is just like a really, really bougie example of the same thing. So it's just, I just think it's really great, like just connecting with people, you know what I mean? Okay, so now you got me in the middle of making our beef delights. Now, you see, we've already made quite a few here. So our mastery points, like I'm already getting to mastery 7 here, okay? Those who know, okay? So we're getting up there, I'm kind of getting the technique down packed. So you get a little bit of meat, you get a little bit of these fucking onions, okay? All right, and now what I do to make them look like this, kind of like croissant-y, okay? So I get the edges here, put them on the side, one over the other, okay? Now I crunch this one in, make sure it's super tight, seal it, right? Crunch this one in too. Now first, I'm gonna egg wash this and on the top of this so that this can come down. Keep it tight, right? Now it's gonna come down, tighten this back in. Now I'm gonna egg wash this right here and right here. Now this one goes all the way up again, keep it tight, and then boom, okay, seal it. So it should be sealed on all sides, okay, that's extra. That's how I make my beef delights. Okay, we're assembling our mac and chini. I used to make so many arancini at one of my restaurants. It would literally be like hours of just making the arancini. But this is a little bit more fun because we got mac and cheese. So what do? We got our ball, okay, I'm gonna put a dent in it, right? And I'm gonna get one of my smoked provolone cubes, put it right in the middle, make it disappear, okay? Like it's now you see me, okay? Put it in the flour, coat it in the flour, okay? It's a nice ball. Get it in the egg wash, drop it into this station, okay? Get it all covered, drip it out, and then into the breadcrumbs, okay? Covered in breadcrumbs. Make sure it's covered on every side. It's nice and compact. There you go, there's your mac and chini, okay? Ready to fry. Okay, so we're gonna fill up our tray, and then we're gonna fry it tomorrow morning, and it's gonna be GBD. Golden brown delicious, okay? Oh yeah, we're feeding the fucking team tonight. We got 3 different trays, 3 different gourmet dishes to feed the Avenue Group Realty grand opening today, okay? Come with me. Wow, look at that. They're gonna get nice and crispy. The event is wrapping up. Event is wrapping up. Huge success. Okay, we sold out of all of our stuff. Not all of our stuff. Beef sold out. Huge success. Everybody loved the food. You can take a look at it. Huge satisfaction. Everything went well. Event was a huge W. Okay, shout out to Avenue Realtor Group again for giving me the opportunity and giving me the pleasure of cooking and feeding the team. It's been my absolute divine happiness and pleasure to have cooked for everyone, and it's been a great opportunity. And catch me later when I make more food for another event. Okay, I'll see you guys on the flip side.